Hey guys, it's Whiskey again. Thanks for clicking on the video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And in this video is about the Torano Titan versus Saurophaganax, which is the vanilla Allo, or the Path of Titans Alderon Allo, the OG original Allo from originally created from back in the day. On Arizoa, they've reclassified it the Saurophaganax, and they're nomadic and they can run in pairs, and they're pretty strong dinosaurs on Arizoa. Once the EXA Exargilla Allo was released, they made that the actual Allosaurus, and they changed these to the Saurophaganax. And they're, like I said, they're a really fun dinosaur to play. Actually, I love playing them when I have a partner. And they like to attack the Tyranno Titan from time to time. And you know, the Torano Titan's got some pretty good matches, and the Saurophaganax being one of them. Gigas, Saurophaganax, anything that's more maneuverable than the Torano Titan is a pretty dangerous threat to it. But with the Saurophaganax and the Allos, the DASP, Torvos, all those sub-apex, and even some of the mid-tier stuff and even low-tier stuff is all really a lot harder to fight as a Tyranno than the bigger, slower things. The bigger, slower things are a much better target for the Tyranno, but these things are dangerous. So I've got a couple of fights here that I had, and I just wanted to show that it is a good fight. You know, it's really just like everything. In Path of Titans, as you might know, terrain really is a huge advantage. You have to use your terrain on a lot of dinosaurs to your advantage. So, you know, on a Torano Titan, the tight quarters is the best terrain for fighting things that are smaller and faster than you. So I'm using this rock here. I was up on the cliff up in Savannah, which wasn't too bad, but they still had a lot of angles they could come in and hit me and get out with. And the thing about the Sauros is they hit hard, and they're also going to be faster than me. So they can do a lot of damage, and they can just run off and escape pretty easily as well. So I really need to play defensive with this, but also get as much bleed and damage on them as I can when I have my terrifying presence active. In this clip here, I've got the blood soaked on, and in the next clip, I use terrifying. I use fresh blood. I've got terrifying presence equipped in both of them, but in the next one, I'm using fresh blood, which allows me to do a little bit more damage. In this case, I had the blood soaked, so I was trying to get them to run a lot, but that's not always the best for me because me running with all this bleed is not good for me either. But I really needed to keep pressure on them to win this fight because I wasn't doing enough damage to them to sit there and stay up on the cliff for very long. I wanted to make sure they were running with that bleed as much as possible. And then what ended up happening was, and this is what happens in a lot of these fights, is we get third-partied, and I just got lucky that those Torvos didn't come after me. There was a funny clip, the funny thing that happened actually, that I threw in here in this next clip, where I was in Savannah, and it was the first time I was ever able to literally scare something to death, and it happened to be a Saurophaganax. So I threw this clip in here because I thought it was kind of funny. I thought you guys would get a kick out of it. And that was it. That was the quickest and most unique kill I've ever got on a Torano Titan. That guy just went running for the cliff, man, and flew off and died. So this fight is a little different. This is one where I had fresh blood on, so I could do more damage. And these guys were being really conservative. It's a couple of players that go around on a lot of sub-apex stuff. there's 3 or 4 of them, and I see them out there quite a lot frequently. They're good players, they're good PvP players, and they're really dangerous. And they do like to kill me. They tend, if they see me, they always go after me. So I enjoy the competition, and it's cool to have something like that around. Um, when I know there's a dangerous threat out, it makes it a little more exciting, a little more thrilling to play. When those players aren't around, or I don't have a group that is really aggressive and is searching for me, sometimes it can get kind of boring. So targeting can be kind of annoying sometimes, but also at the same time, I play the game to fight and to have some good situations like this, and that's the whole reason I play. So it does make it more exciting, and it makes the game more fun. One thing that gets a little annoying though with it is that when they're toxic about it, some of the guys, this particular group, some of them are cool and respectful, and it's just good competition. But there's 1 or 2 that always like to make rude or toxic comments, and so that never, um, that usually sours the situation a little bit. But if sometimes you got to take the good with the bad. So a little bit of that's not a big deal, and I just go with the flow. Roll with the punches a little bit. But they know that I'm not going to be an easy fight, so they're being very, very careful here. But again, I mean, I've got a really superior position. They've got a lot of obstacles to worry about. Cliff behind me. They've got these trees and a nest right here in front of me. So it's going to take them a long time to do much damage to me. And as long as I'm trading bites with them when they come in, I'll be in really good shape. And this is also in GP, so they've really got to worry about third-party threats as well. And so I think I'm in a really good spot, and I like this place here to fight in. I think I've got a really good chance to win this fight. These players, like I said, I've fought them a lot before, and that one thing that they do that's really annoying is they like to just stall, and they'll even stall to like starve you out or to like just keep you there for as long as possible, and that's not the most fun way to fight, but that's what they'll do sometimes. So I've got to try to keep pressure on them as well. But you can see, it's not an easy fight, and you can see how low I got in that previous fight against those first set of Saurophaganax. Um, a lot of people are talking about the Titan being OP, and it's really not. I mean, if you can't use the environment like this, you're dead. If they catch you out in the open, or maybe you're a little bit low health from another fight or a Terry or whatever, and you don't have a place to get to like this, then that's the only reason I'm winning a lot of these fights, is because I get superior positioning. But without that, you're in deep trouble. I mean, if you go to deathmatch ever and just fight in the open, you'll see how hard it can be. It's a lot harder when you can't use terrain to your advantage. When it first came out, it was a bit stronger. Uh, the tail knockback was a lot stronger, and the terrifying presence, the timer on it, the refresh timer on it was a lot shorter. So it was stronger when it first came out, but they've done a little bit of tweaks to it, and I really think it's in a good spot right now. I think the people that say it's OP is people that just don't know how to fight against it. But people are learning. The good players are learning how to fight against it. And, you know, I see them dead all the time. I see them dying to Allo packs. I've died to an Allo pack. I see them dying to DASP is probably the most dangerous thing, because even when you get a good position with 3 DASP, they'll out DPS you, and they're probably going to win unless you get lucky and knock one off of a cliff or something like that. Mid-tier packs, Dilo packs, even Megs and Conks I've seen killing Tyranno Titans. They can get it stuck in a position like this, and then they can just whittle away at its health and go run off and heal up and cycle sit the bleed and heal up, and in time the Torano Titan is going to die, and it's just a matter of physics, really. You know, if they're not too aggressive and they don't get caught, eventually the Torano will die. So it's definitely not OP. It's got a lot of counters out there, and like I said, people are learning how to do that, how to use the counter, how to counter it, and how to kill it. So it's definitely not OP in my opinion. If you're not playing smart on it, you will die a lot on the Torano Titan. And like I said, I've seen a lot of them die out there. So I always try to think ahead, think about where I'm going to fight, when I'm going to fight, you know, how I'm going to fight, evaluate the threats that are in the areas that you're in, and do you really want to get into a fight, you know, right now. If there's a lot of mid-tier packs running around, you know, I'm going to choose my fights very, very wisely, because I don't want to get third-partied. And, you know, everybody wants to target the Torano Titan. So if there's a third party going to happen, it's probably going to be against me. So, you know, you notice in this case, I'm pretty lucky there's not a whole lot of threats around. So I'm taking my time, being pretty patient. But you don't always have that luxury, so you got to be careful. I did see some things roaming about in the background there, so I repositioned over on this side to try to give myself a little bit more concealment to third parties. Even though that spot up there was better, I think the fight's been going on quite a long time now, relatively speaking, and there's going to be something coming along to try to third party. And so if I can make it to where I'm not sticking out like a sore thumb, you know, up on a cliff like that in an obvious spot, then that's what I'll do. And I want to come down here because I do have the, you know, the concealment of that cliff. It also changes the environment a little bit. Those guys, the longer I'm in that spot, the more time they have to figure out angles and ways to get me. So if I move, then it kind of resets their whole strategy too. Now, I don't have a ton of bleed on me, and I know they've got a lot of bleed on them, and they do take fall damage, so I'm trying to just get them running as much as possible now. I can see them being pretty passive, you know, they're not being nearly as aggressive as they were in the beginning, so I know they're hurt as well. And you can see the scarring, they're scarring up pretty good. So I'm going to try to take my time here when I get my terrifying presence, keep the pressure on them. You can see them starting to bump into each other. They're also looking around for other threats. They're keeping a lot of space. So I know at this point I'm starting to get the advantage in the fight. I mean, terrain. This terrain is great for me to fight against these guys. They don't have many angles to come in and out without bumping into stuff or falling off cliffs and things like that. And like I said, I mean, in this game, terrain is everything. You really, really got to use terrain. Make sure whatever dinosaur you're on, you know what the best terrain is that gives you the most advantage, and use that to your ability. If you don't, you're going to be dying a lot. one of these guys at the end of this says something like, "Oh, you know, you were cliff camping the whole time," as if that's some kind of a negative, trait. Well, no, it's a smart way to fight actually. They say stuff like that to try to intimidate people or get people to feel like they shouldn't be doing that when you absolutely should be doing that. If you're not doing it, then you're not playing smart. So, I'm not going to play their game and play out where they want me to play. I'm going to force them to play where I want them to play. And I don't care if they hurl insults or do whatever they want to do to try to dissuade me from doing that. It isn't going to work. So that's the video. These guys end up running off at this point. They knew that they weren't going to win the fight, and so they ran away. And that is one of the advantages that the smaller, faster creatures have, so you got to deal with that. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you out there in Gondwa. Goodbye.